Hello, listeners. Hi, my name is Madhavi, and I'm so happy to have you on UppTalk. You have come to the right place if you want to learn about IT and do really cool things with your hands. We are not just another IT company when I say UppTalk. Think of us as your learning partner dedicated to helping you reach your full potential. We have top notch hands on courses to help you build your business, whether you're new to technology or want to move up in your current job. Let's look around this as our first step towards learning.
Yesterday we did some rule-based security group. That is something comes under advanced security. Even the intersection security that we are doing today will become something advanced actually. Many people think that intersection security group is a little complex and cannot actually configure that very easily at all. But if you understand the concept, security concept, and if you understand the process of handling intersection security group in the background or the process of intersection, I think it's an easy one. Intersection is nothing but combining multiple security groups. Combining security groups and adding a kind of combined security to the company. Combined security group. One question here. Now, what is the aggregation security group? Aggregation is something. Aggregation is also kind of intersection. Aggregations is kind of which aggregates multiple security groups. Where in aggregation you can actually aggregate security groups. But intersection, it can perform more than aggregation. You can actually aggregate security groups and also you can restrict the security. Let's say, for example, yesterday we have created a rule-based security group that all the employees in the United States or some other specific country should have access to some specific task or permissions. That is one thing which will work specifically for that group. Actually now considering that security group, let's say for the same station, you wanted to give access to all, access to add vaccination to all the employees but restrict to us employees. You simply should not have access. How do you do? That's something true intersection can, because it can handle multiple security groups. You have an option include and exclude functionality in intersection security. In aggregation, you can add multiple security groups. That will be combined security in aggregation. In aggregation security group, you can add multiple security group that provides security to all the security groups. But intersection security group, you can perform both aggregation and also you can exclude the permissions actually. What I was saying, if you wanted to give access to add vaccinations to all the employees, but you wanted to restrict to some of the security group to some of the criteria, us employees should have no access to add vaccination, that your intersection can perform because you have include and exclude functionality. In the same section, you can include the permissions, and for the same, you can exclude the permissions also. That's what we are going to see and test how it works actually. I'm creating an intersection security group and I wanted to give access to all the employees. Employee itself. Employee self I wanted to include because every employee should get an access to manage. Here we need to check which is delivered and which is the created one. This is the delivered one and this should be not delivered one. This is the segment one. I have included employee self where employee self. All the employees will be part of the secular group. If I click on and give permissions to this one, every employee will get permissions to manage vaccination now at the same time. I don't want to give access to EOS employees to add vaccination. Now here, if you see, you also have security group to include and you also have security group to exclude. Actually, include is mandatory. At any stage, you need to input the security group that needs to get permissions. And exclude also, you have an option to manage. This will work both as an aggregation and also do a kind of combined intersection. Actually, it can actually intersect and provide wide range of security for multiple security groups. Now I want it to exclude. To US employees to manage vaccination data, what I'll do is whatever rule based yesterday. We have created this one, I think we have created yesterday. That vaccination. I think one you have created, I believe. I'll apply. That one I created. I'm excluding this one. All employees always secondary. All your supplies for vaccination. This will be created. Taking location, membership security group, but not a rule basic group. Here you can see what are the things that are coming under. Yes, it is not a specific. What we can do is we can actually use a different security group. Outer bank of now I have taken location membership security, which includes bank of which I am adding under exclusion list, actually meaning that this did exclude the permissions that we are giving, actually now including exclude function will work. Actually now let's add this to the vaccination. This is the business process. Now I'm removing these two, adding intersection one. Ideally, what it should do? We should give access to all the employees because we have added employer self-secure group, but we also excluded Bangkok employees. That should actually restrict the access now. Let's activate and test this to see whether it is. Thank you. Now we have activated. since we have given access to all employees. Logan is one of the employee who is not from Bangkok, but let's see if she is able to add vaccination or not. Now she is getting a task to add vaccination because we added all of you. Employee itself, where Logan is part of that security group and she's able to get that access. Now let's proxy us one from Bangkok to see if the exclusion that we have added will work or not. One question, any other security? Let's say you added a location-based security group. In that you added separately to only bank account employees. Again, on top of that, we created this security group intersection. Does it intersect or now only it will work? As even though you added some other location-based security group, I did not get your question. Oh, you didn't get it. What I'm saying is, let's say banking comply, we added using location security, add vaccination before that one. That's still there. Now we are restricting here. Banking complies. That should not be the case when you're giving permissions. You're asking if location membership is already added as a security policy and you have kept as it is. Now we are adding your security to the same business process. You cannot do multiple security groups for one VP security policy. That might conflict actually. But still the access will not work actually because you are restricting and you're saying you want it again. Ideally, that will not be the case. In general scenario, you will not be the case. You will not be doing such kind of thing. We forgot now. Maybe we forgot only in the later place. In that case also it will not work because one case you are restricting and one case you are trying to add. It will not work because intersection is actually restricting them. Got Since for bank of employee we have excluded. Now let's see if we can add vaccination only. She is not getting the test. Ideally, she is also an employee. She is also one from Bangkok, also employed, but since we have applied for vaccination, she is not getting. Now let's test what you asked for. This is not working. Whatever we thought intersection is actually working, but now what you asked, just that one and see whether that will be accepting or not. The intersection can actually make any kind of dual roles actually. When you're wanting to have permissions divided into multiple groups, you can actually use this thing. Or if you wanted to restrict one, let's say you're building any ecosystem. Take learning. You wanted to have all the employees to access your learning system, but not contractors. How do you restrict? Through intersection, you can actually restrict. AP vaccination page. This is the integration security group. Let's add the location to this. All bank account lockers. This is the one that we added inside the security group to just see how it works. Let's see. It's not actually because it will take it as under means. It should not work actually. Let's see activate. Activate when I. Now, whatever the location membership that you have added, we apply and see. Let's again test for logo and vaccination. Logan is getting this, that's an expected one, but getting for Bangkok employee is something that we need to ensure now. Thank you. Proxying as a banker can provide to test the vaccination task. Now both intersection and location are in one business process security policy. Let's see whether it is actually conflicting. It is giving the permissions outside of intersection because intersection is actually doing its job. But additionally, you're giving permissions to the security policy. It is actually conflicting and it is giving the permissions, but this kind of activity is not doing in real system actually. That's what we forgot and we should not. And it should work even though if it is taking as and it is actually taking that as a kind of separate instance and it is getting access. Though you and no for testing we've done, but ideal case this might not occur actually because one side we are saying it has to restrict, the other side we are saying we want it to have. Then no need of doing intersection. If this is the kind of case, and then the application will not come into the picture. That's what somebody might create some intersection. Then we can any other thing might work, but the same permissions it will take as an instance and it will that as a separate instance actually. I thought it will not give because negativity has more power actually. Restriction will have more power. I thought it will restrict for location membership security, but it is taking at a separate instance. Your security is taking at a separate instance and getting access as an enough separate security. But overall, you shouldn't be seeing. But as a kind of ideal test case, you can take the rest. When you add intersection and when you add the other groups, it will take as an under. That means this one and that one. In this system, I got it understood that one. In general, how many can we look at? All the security groups in the system. What kind of security groups? High level. Or can we cannot see. Let's say, let's wrap hundreds up. Say user security, user-based security group line, role-based security groups, even intersection security groups, whatever created in order to see all the security groups in the system. To use the VR in La Bank, I can play maybe There should be a standard report which gets you all the role based user based everything. Oh, I thought you should have been a long time. Even if you can create a report also to get all the security groups that are available by taking a data source as a security groups. You can actually create, but there should be delivered security groups or security. This is a delivered report actually. Then this many will not be, but since this is a training you can take this as an exception. You can see all secondary groups, you can find out. But there is much detail actually. You'll be getting all the types, but if you create a one, you should be able to find where it's being used, which type of security group is that, and what are the impacts of those, for which one that is assigned. All these things you can actually create a report and find out who are all assigned with the security group, what type of security group it is, what is the name of the security group, what are the domains that are attached. All those things you can actually here also you can find. Other usages also, but when you create a report, you will be getting a detailed field level access where you can actually create at your own choice. This is the report. This is also a report. This is a standard report which Workday offers. A custom report. This is a delivered report actually. You can create your own custom report. You want custom report. If this is a kind of report writer, you can actually copy this one also. But let's say this should be let this see if this is a custom report or people have created. This is custom report, not a delivered one. This one was created by, let me find out any standard report. Thank you. It's trying to find anything deliver report that gives all the security groups. We have we can compare the security groups between two security groups. These are all the different categories of security groups. But ideally, if you have any kind of specific preferences, custom report would be a kind. Of ideal approach through which you can actually there should be a standard that actually gets you the delivered attributes and all, but if you want to have any specific details, you can actually create your own custom report. Now this should be the standard report. The filter is new security groups in the task is there. Use security for user also, for whom the security group is assigned. This is general task that you will use. These are the three standard report that we have. These three are X plus 4 reports. Actually, one is a report writer, view security. Groups, you can actually identify these terms for you security groups. This is an express for report. If you wanted to run over all the reports, you can actually, if you wanted to filter for any specific permissions or domain on a security group, you can. But if you want to run over all the security, you can actually filter with this, and you should be able to do this thing. Now, this is a standard of security groups. I think the one that we have seen previously is a copy of this one. Someone would have copied this one. That's the same data. Now we can see all the security groups that we have around 8 to 1 security groups. You can see name of this idea, how many in general, real time. Now maybe a couple of hundred or not more than 100. Also delivered security groups or altogether in a real time scenario. That depends. That depends. It can be more than 100 also. Because some organizations wanted to go with the row level security. They would have created a report level security, integration level security, and some other user level security, location level security, and row level security. A lot of security group types are there. They would have created all the things. There should be more than, but that depends upon the cases, how they utilize the security group. If they have 100 integrations, for each integration, they have got one separate integration security group. That can be more. The integration and one-time user, let's say now are reusable. All integration security groups. It depends upon what data that you're sending through each integration. Every integration will not integrate the same data. Based on the integration, it will be creating a separate security group and it will attach to the integration. Each will have its own, but it is reusable. Let's say I'm sending data, the payroll, in the one secret for that payroll. We have to use the same security group for you can. You cannot use one integration system user for multiple. You can add multiple integration system user to one security groups. But you cannot add one integration system user to multiple integrations. You got it. One integration system user can be attached to only one integration. Each integration should have a unique integration system user, but multiple integration system users can be attached to one's integration security group. Confused? Little confusing here. In order to create integration security, what we need to have first, we need to create integration security user, and then we need to attach this integration system user to integration system. Security group, integration system security group. Now, conservation integration. Integration 1, integration 2. Integration 3, we have 3 integrations. You cannot attach. One integration system user, let's say ISO1. This is an integration system security group. and you have ISK as a security group. Now you cannot have this ISO1 to all the three integrations because ISO we need to attach for integration only. No, yes, you cannot attach this ISO1 for all the three integration. It's different. ISO is a three. You need to create three integration system users for three integrations. And then you can attach these three ISO2 to this security group. Security group can be added with multiple ISUs, but multiple ISUs cannot be added. Sorry, 1 year ISU cannot be added to multiple integrations when you want to use ISU1 to both 1 and 2, which is not possible. You need to have 1 and 2 separately for integration 1 and 2. But if you wanted to give same permission for 3 integrations, you can attach these 3 ISUs to one ISG which is having same permissions. The same permissions will apply for these 3 integrations. Ideal case is you need to have a unique ISU for each integration, but you can have all. Those ISUs that you have created for multiple integrations can be attached to one ISU. One security group. You don't need to go for multiple security when you have the same permissions. Integration 1 has same permissions. Integration 2 has same permissions but with less domains. Integration 3 has same permissions from 1 and 2 but missing of some domains. What you can do? You can create one security group that requires permissions for these three integrations and then you can attach ISU 1, 2, 3 for this ISU that all these 3 ISUs can be attached to this integration. And permissions this ISG will be giving for these 3 ISUs. That way your integration security could work. With that, I think you should have got more exposure towards security in all the one question. Segment-based security group. I saw that one. Is it segment will be based on segments actually. For each segment, you can actually create one specific segment based security group if you wanted to give. Let's say learning is there. Learn. There is a learning segment is there. You can actually create segment based for learning and you have HSAM segmented. You can actually create a segment based specific for Sigma HCM segment. What is the meaning of segment? Segment is a different module or no, it's not a module actually. If you remember, you've taken compensation session. I didn't remember anything now. If you have taken a compensation segment when you are creating a compensation grade, you would have seen segments to how many segments you want to have a compensation gate created. You can create multiple segments. Similarly, in security also, you have a segment-based security group. Segment-based security group. Each segment you can have. If you go for a task or you have a task called create a security segment, also how we have a create security rule. You have a multiple segments. Create a learning security segment. Create supplier security segment. You have multiple segments actually which you can actually create segment and not add that segment to the security group and provide permissions actually. Segment is nothing but which can provide security based on the segment. We have multiple segments in Workday Learning related segment. We have pay related segment you have, benefits related segment you have. For each of the segment, you can actually grant security. which is by segment. You can actually create a security segment actually. It, see, there are multiple types of segments. Here actually you can create segments for all these types and have your security granted. Actually, if you take a learning related segment, which means that you're creating a separate security group for just a learning access. In learning, we have multiple segments. Through those segments, if you wanted to restrict security or grant security, we can actually create a segment based security. You have learning topic. We did not discuss about learning. There are multiple topics. If you have, let's say, Workday is one of the topic where all the Workday related courses are there. And payroll is one of the topics where all the payroll related courses are there. And benefits is one of the topics where all the benefit related courses are there. Now, if you wanted to provide segment based security for each segment separately, if you wanted to give access to all the Workday related courses to any specific user, you can actually take that particular segment called. You can actually select Workday if there is any topic created with Workday. You can actually select that as a segment and create your segment. Let's say if this is one of the topic. Now, if you wanted to give specific analysis, this topic is a Workday learning where all the courses related to Workday learning as there. If you wanted to give access to all these courses, you're creating a segment based security group. Now, once you create this segment, you'll go and attach this to any specific user based security group or identity security group, which will give permissions to all these learning courses. Actually, where your security is actually working based on the segment that you are giving. For all the segments you're actually providing here, you're providing access to Workday learning course list actually. All the courses that are there under Workday learning will be getting access to any specific user. Similarly, you can actually add multiple segments where each user can actually get access to each segment of learning area. Base security is nothing but based on segment. You are getting the access. Got it that you can actually include multiple areas of segments. That should be a kind of security. You have covered almost all the areas of security. We have covered user based, but we didn't get a chance to test user based because of the limitation of the tenant. But we have tested rule based, we have tested location, we have tested rule based, we have tested integration security group, we have tested this intersection security group, we have tested a specific location membership security group. That should actually be kind of wide exposure toward the security. I think you've practiced all those things. You can take those as a kind of use cases and have your resume prepared accordingly. I'll do that. Anything else? I need to worry or I need to rush. As you mentioned, I started looking into integrations one more time. At the same time, I started looking. If you have undergone complete HSM course, what I would suggest is start from the beginning. It won't take much time actually. Start from organizations. Get a kind of idea for the from organizations to integration sessions, staffing, hiring, jobs, positions, compensation, and security business process. Routing integrations, all these things are demanded skills actually. you should have in this present competition. You should have a kind of demanded skills. If you just go with specific skills, if they are not in need of those things, your resume might not get shortlisted. But if you have all the skills with you, they want to have just integrations. But still, you have more than integrations. That's where you get a chance to actually get your resume shortlisted. What I would recommend is whatever training that you have gone previously. And we also discussed outside of your previous training. We have discussed a lot of things, calculated fields. We have discussed, we have created some integrations, get complete understanding on all those things. It understanding, then that will be giving you more chances of getting. Upright for more positions because they'll be looking for a wide amount of skills across Workday. If you have all those things, that will give you a kind of option to shortlist your resume soon. And if you have prepared all the practices that you've made with the training that you've gone, one question, I mean, no, I am going over to the best way is giving some examples while talking. That's the way best they will understand. No, I am now what's happening. I'm no cutting the answer instead of no expanding my answer. I say, I know this, no one word, 2 words maximum. You need to explain the scenario. You need to explain the scenario. What are the security groups that you have created or what security understand that you have? You can actually take all the scenarios that you have done actually. You can take rule, ways, you can take intersection. You can take the role, ways that we have tested, location we have tested. You have good examples that you can actually talk about. If you're there talking calculated fields or reports, if you've got a chance to create reports, you can actually take all these things and talk about all the experiences that you have with the report integration. The only thing I have a little question here and there was business processes. Create. I need to brush it again. Business processes, basically. If you're if that is a functional position, definitely business process is needed actually. The technical thinking might not be too much questions, but if there is a functional positions, then my questions on business process more because business process is a core functional topic. You have undergone HCM techno function with the debashes. I got those content that you have shared. You said he has shared some notes also. No, gather all those notes related things and one by one get familiar with each of the topic. That should give a confidence that you have covered everything. I'll do that I started doing, but the only thing is I was not writing somewhere. Now I need to write it and make some kind of a use cases for each of the topic that you have learned, prepare a summary and talk about that summary. That will give a kind of 80 to 90% of delivery that when you're attending interviews. All the questions you should be able to answer when you have a summary with you. You don't have summary, as you said, you'll just say genetically, yes, I've done. I've created security groups, but what you have created, what was the intake and what was the outtake, which you will not be able to explain. Now, when you make a summary, that means easy access to explain all the things. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@therightuptalk.com.